Knit One,
Part 2.
Episode 127.
I'm Wendy, also known as Penny Wendy. I went first.
I'm Sheila, also known as Sheila D37. Okay. If that's how you want to be.
I don't know. Sheila just faked me out prior to this so that I would say hello when she was just not doing that. So
all of a sudden I had a niche. I'm sorry.
She was like, hot. Made me feel like a fool. All right, so
we have a couple of knit-alongs, several knit-alongs.
We do. We have 2 knit-alongs right now. One of them knit-along and crochet-along. We do not reject crocheting.
No, absolutely not.
K-A-L and C-A-L. I'll do one of them. This is the sweaters. If you are working on a sweater, please post your finished sweater in the thread in our group. And that knit-along started September 1st and ends on October 31st. And as long as you complete your sweater during that time period, you're eligible to enter.
It doesn't have to be started.
It does not have to be started. So if you have an old sweater lying around that you need to just put the sleeves on or something, this is a good time to get
Absolutely.
it out.
And we're also doing a hat knit-along. Knit any hat.
For charity.
For charity. And link the charity in the thread. So it can be for babies, it could be for adults, it could be for anybody, but just...
This is a good one, too, because you can knit, like, 10 preemie caps.
If you post
that's 10 separate
entries
entries that you could get for a prize.
Yeah. So for a hat charity, there's Sweet Caroline, which is a baby hat, and Knitting for Remy.
Remembering Remy, Halos for Hope, and then I saw another one that somebody was talking about, and now I can't remember what it was, but I thought, oh, I should mention that one because it was a different one that I hadn't put on the list. So, but it's any charity. If you just want to give to your local hospital that has that program, and it's not an official charity, you can just link to wherever they tell you about donating hats. So, it's, it's just starting to be the time of year when it's nice to be thinking about doing things for other people. So there's that. And we have a contest running right now until next week, which is for the Halloween yarn Trick or Treat Vesper striping sock and from Knitterly Things. And you can either post what you would knit, a link to the pattern that you would knit out of the sock yarn that we're offering, or you can post a link to your favorite Halloween pattern.
Oh, yeah.
And people have been doing that. Thank you very much. This is how I get things into my queue.
Yeah, I've been adding some stuff, too.
I love having contests where people post links to things because for months afterwards I can browse in there and find ideas. So thank you very much for that. Do we have any other shout outs?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I do want to make a shout out for Dramatic Knits. He has a podcast, but he has also opened a yarn shop on Big Cartel called Leading Man Fiber Arts.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been watching it with interest. Like, I saw some stuff about it, and I saw some posts go up when he was getting ready to put it up. And I checked out their website. It's on Big Cartel. I think it is actually Leading Man Fiber Arts, one word, .bigcartel.com, I think is the, I'll link it down here. But, he opened for the first time, I want to say last week. He still has some stuff up in the shop. He has several different bases. Is it all just fiber? It's yarn.
Oh, it is.
I didn't see any fiber, just yarn.
Oh, okay.
And I was really interested in his color sensibility. I
don't have my iPad with me.
Yeah, well, check it out. I was just talking with him, and I think we're going to review some yarn from him. So later in a few weeks or something. Sometime soon we will be talking about his yarn. But his color sensibility was interesting to me because it's not like a lot of the other yarn vendors out there. And I'm wondering if it's because he's a guy coming from
a woman's perspective. I don't want to say it like that. From a woman's world, in the sense of most women who die for women.
Right. And so he's like bringing a man's perspective because, I think that men have different color sensibilities than women. And so I saw a lot of really gorgeous
darker tones,
like blues and greens, and they were all things that I think most of the colors in there were colorways that appealed to me, but they were something that I could see knitting socks for my husband out of, which I thought was really good. He does have some brights too. He has a bright green and a pink, but even those were just different than what I'm used to seeing. So I think you should check it out. I like what he's done so far. And the thing that I like about his big cartel shop is he has a link where you can see all of his colorways.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can just look at the colorways and see what he has. And he has some semi-solids and some variegateds. I really liked a couple of the variegateds a lot. There's one called Industrial that I think is really pretty. It's like blue and kind of gray, but it's dark.
Right.
It was really pretty. So, check him out. I'll just give a shout out to him. And a hi to Callie.
Hi, guys.
So, and check out their podcast, Dramatic Knits. So, that's it for the shout outs. There was nothing from no donations this week. Okay, good.
No, not to my knowledge. I don't remember seeing anything.
All right. So, on the needles, the first thing that's on the needles, it's always on the needles, is my seashell shawl. I'm on the last row of the chart. And then I have to start the edging knitting that is going to take me forever. But this is Seashell Shawl by Jo Cray Arts. It is an Ivy Brambles pattern, and this is what it will ultimately look like. I have knit the inner triangle. The edging is knit on all the way around. And it is a 28 stitch edging, so it's pretty deep edging. And I'm knitting it out of Blue Moon Fiber Art Socks That Rock Silk Thread 2 in the spruced colorway. And it doesn't look that big now, but when you block it, you have to see that it's very drapey. So it is going to be a very big shawl. Hopefully, I'll have it finished by Rhinebeck. I don't even know if that's true. I've been really into the sweater knitting. I always forget, when I haven't knit a sweater for a while, I always forget how much I enjoy knitting sweaters. That's really my thing. I'm really a sweater person.
Yeah, you really are.
And so this has kind of fallen by the wayside, because I love knitting lace too, but I think I'm just at the point where I need to go from really thin to really fat yarn for a while. So that's on my signature size US 5, 3.75 millimeters. And I really enjoy knitting the silk yarn, which is gorgeous. This Blue Moon Fiber Arts yarn.
Seems really nice.
Gorgeous. And I really love knitting it with these like lovely smooth things, but I have to be really careful, because if I don't pull the cables all the way out, the needles are so slick and the yarn is so slick that the stitches will just shoot off the end. So that's a thing to watch out for. And of course, as always, I'm keeping it in my crabby bag. And you know, crabby is how I'm starting to feel about this project. Maybe I had to put it in the happier bag.
Maybe you should.
No, I love my crabby bag. So that's the first thing that I have. The second thing that I have still on the needles is my Zoom Loom blanket. I made a few more squares. I make a few squares every week. I haven't put this one into the mix yet. I like this one because it has that one random thread. Oops. Some fiber on it. That one random thread of red that goes through it. Because you never know what you're going to get with this. So I have them in rainbow order because I'm going to do it with diagonal stripes in a rainbow gradient. And that's what I have so far. Did a few more orange ones. I have just over, I think I have like 41 now, or 42.
Cool.
Yeah, I only need to make like 82 or something like that. So I'm like halfway done. I was going to make a few this morning, but then I went back to bed, so that didn't pan out. I'm really enjoying my Zoom Loom, and I ordered the yarn to start doing the crocheted edge on these and put them together, so I can start working on that too.
Oh, good.
Although I probably won't crochet them together until all of them are done, so I can play around with where they go. But I might start crocheting the edges onto them. because the way that I'm planning to do this is to crochet a single crochet edge on all of the squares and then attach them with some sort of a stitch. I haven't decided which way I like the best yet. But I ordered 10 skeins of Wool of the Andes in sport weight from Knit Picks in the ash colorway. If you want to look it up, you can see. So it's a dark gray. So it's like this color gray right here, maybe a tad darker. I'm sorry, I'm pointing out your boob, but her shirt, it's that color, but a little bit darker. So it'll be, I hold these against your boob. See, I think that'll be really pretty. Not as like startling as the black and not so likely to get dirty from like being used as cream or white. So I think great. And my new couch covers are gray, so I think that'll match well. So that's the second thing that I have on the needles, and that is all I have officially. Oh no, I forgot. My sweater is still on the needles. But as I showed Sheila, it is nearly done. This is the front of it. Yes, this is the front. So this is the front. The yoke is done. All I have to do is knit the neck on. And what I did last night is I asked my followers on Instagram, which was really helpful because a lot of people gave me feedback. And I was kind of feeling that I should do just a straight ribbed, just a regular crew neck. And a lot of people confirmed that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some short rows on the back to make the back a little bit higher so that it sits better around my neck. And then I'm going to do a very small 1x1 rib neck edge. So last night, but I needed to try the sweater on again, just to make sure I want to make sure that the neck comes up high enough. I don't want it to be like too boat necky. I want it to be, because it's a warm sweater and I don't want to then have like a big exposed neck. So, what I did is I finished the underarms. As you can see, I Kitchenered the underarms together. And I wove in all of the ends, except for the hem, because I'm having a problem with the hem. And if anybody has an idea of why this might be happening, I would love to hear it. I have reknit this hem several times, and it was curling. So I reknit it, and it curled, and then I ripped it apart and reknit it again, and it's now curling on the part where I reknit it. So I'm going to block it and see if it's just an effect of having knitted in a different direction right there.
Right.
Either that or I'm going to have, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll fold it over and just have I might rip it out and make a folded over hem because that won't curl. I'll reknit it for that. But so I didn't finish the string on that edge because I might need to rip out the bottom again. But I'm really, really happy with it. And my favorite thing about it, which one is the front? This is the front. My favorite thing is how these two stripes of orange ended up in the
yoke like
the yoke like that. And then there's the one band right down around my waist. I just think that's cool. And the other thing that I really love about it is that last year during, not this past time, but last year during Tour de Fleece, I spun some Captain Tight Pants from Into the World. And I did an experiment by doing a 3-ply where I plied the colors together. So that they ended up striping like this with most of the colors matching up, but then you'd get these random areas where they didn't match up. And I knit a hat and a pair of mitts from it, and I just loved the way that it looked. And I thought in my head I would really love to knit a sweater that had this effect all over it, because I know people stray away from horizontal stripes, but I just really like the look of it. I think it's really interesting and pretty, and I wondered how it would look if you did it on several different skeins. So when I saw the Into the World Diabolical Yarns flower shop Inferno, I saw one braid in her shop. I loved it because the coloring was very similar to Captain Tight Pants in the sense that it's like almost like rainbow, but it's not. It's like a very dark jewel tone ranging. So it kind of has rainbow effect in that it goes from warm to cool. And I just liked it a lot. I like jewel tones. And so when I got the bat home and I saw it in person, I asked her to dye me the rest as a special order and I had this vision for this sweater. And I just want to say that I'm a relatively new spinner. I've only been spinning for like 2.5 years now. No, that's not even right.
Just about 2, I think.
Just about 2 years in October 2 years in November because that's when it's 2 years. 2 years because I got that wheel that you have at the beginning of the summer.
Oh, right.
2 years. So it's been about just a little over 2 years. But I had a vision of how this would come out, and it worked. Like, it totally worked. So I'm really happy about it. And I want to just say that I love the differences when there are fewer stitches, how much more heathered the stripes are. And then as you get more stitches, it starts to become more defined.
Right.
And when you see them over a large distance, they're well defined. And I love how the stripes got really skinny right in here where there were the most stitches on the needle, and how they got narrower and then wider again. I just think it's really interesting and fascinating. And it's given me inspiration to do another hand-spun sweater that plays with the colors of a braid. So I'm really excited to do that. I'm going to do that soon. I'm going to try to do it from stuff I have in my stash because I might have to have some coordinating stuff dyed for the stuff in my stash, but I'm going to try to mostly use what I already have so that I'm not, I don't need to buy a ton more fiber. I know I will buy a ton more fiber, but I don't need to. I could try to avoid it.
Right.
So I'm going to start working on that, and I have to do some experimental spinning first, just because I have an idea in my head, but I need to practice and see what it will turn out like before I commit myself to a whole sweater. What was that?
My needle.
So anyway,
how I do this.
This is it. And by the way, the yoke started out using the instructions from the pattern, but then it didn't use the instructions from the pattern. So pretty much nothing in this sweater is the same, except that there is a garter ridge here where I did the decreases. This is a whole new sweater that I wrote the pattern for. No, it's because it's perfect. I tried it on. It fits really well.
Exactly.
And just a tip for people who are kind of afraid to modify patterns. You can read the book by Isolde Teague, Little Red in the City. Has very good instructions about how to measure yourself and everything, and what measurements are important and how you can make things fit. That's a great book. Knit to Flatter by Amy Herzog, I just bought, has also a bunch of really good information about what styles of sweater look best and how you can manipulate things to fit better. But I have a really simple homespun tip that I use when I'm lazy or when I'm in a situation like now where I lost some weight and then I injured myself and then I gained some weight and then I injured myself, like where my weight has kind of been fluctuating. What I do is I find a t-shirt or a sweater that I like the way that it fits me. And I lay it down flat on the table and I measure how wide it is at the hips, how wide it is at the waist, how wide it is at the armpits, and how deep it goes from top of the shoulder to here, and how deep it is from the armpit to the hip. And I use those measurements so that I don't need to try to measure my own body. And I actually took the measurements from my Skipperty sweater to make this sweater.
I have a book, the sweater book. It's called that I did Max's sweater.
Oh, yeah. Is that a good one, too?
That tells you exactly to do the same thing. To pick a sweatshirt or a sweater that you really like.
That you like the way that it looks. And I think it's probably in both of the other books that I named, too. I'm sure they mentioned it as well. But it's, it's an easy way to do it. And that way as long as you are getting consistent gauge. That's when you do that, you do have to swatch because you need to make sure you're getting gauge. Right. But when you do your sweater based on those measurements, you're almost always going to be really happy with how it looks at the end. So I'm really happy with how this looks at the end. There you go. And so if it had been something else, it wouldn't have bothered me so much. But since it was hand spun, that took me like a year to spin because I'm lazy and slow. I really wanted it to fit. I didn't want to have to rip it out. I'll rip it. If I lost like 100 pounds, I'll rip it out then.
Right.
I think that's probably never going to be happening. So I'm safe in saying that. So anyway, that's all I have on the needles.
All right, I have slippers on the needle. Felted Clog slippers.
The pattern is linked in our show notes.
This is, you can buy this either by download or a hard copy at your local knitting store. I bought this at our local knitting store. Is it still open?
Which one?
Butterfly.
No. I bought mine do you know where I got mine? In Framingham.
At Fabric Place?
At Fabric Place.
So no one bought that store?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Oh, okay. Anyways, it's Fiber Trends AC33. And so I'm knitting slippers, and I knit them without the bumper. I don't knit that because you got to pick up stitches afterwards, and yeah, heck no. I'll even tell you what I do with my cuff, my sole that's different.
And these are for my mom, so she can't really complain if the bumper is not knit on them.
It doesn't make any difference in the wear of the slippers.
No, it's
it
just
is just
the
the style
thing.
of the slippers. But I still want to buy some fun fur and try that because there's a pair of slippers that I have favored that have fun fur and it's striping fur and it goes like this. It's really cool.
Yeah, that is one of the applications for fun fur that's kind of cute, you know?
So I just finished.
Do them on my mom's.
No. It's too late for that.
That ship has sailed.
Anyways, the instructions say to knit up a sole and then you start knitting
around it.
This part, yeah. You knit like a round or two, and then you start doing what it calls to do the thing.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah, that's right. You have your own method.
And I tell you, and at the end, you pick up stitches to do a second sole because it's a 2-sole slipper to make it cushy and soft. Right. So what I do, and I'm not giving any secrets away here.
No, because you're telling what your modification is.
I knit a sole right here. This is a sole, and you end up. At the end, you seam it together to
down
make it
the middle.
Yeah. And then what you saw me do is I put it on a spare set of needles. Mm-hmm. I cast on for the other sole. So I knit both soles through its completions of row 6.
Right.
And then it tells you to do something else. And that's when I join the 2 soles together.
Huh. And then you knit the top.
And then I knit the top. And then I seam the 2 soles together. And then what I also do, and I think it recommends it in the pattern, I don't think I'm giving anything away, is to make the soles so that they don't slip.
Right.
You just put like a running stitch through them.
Oh, yeah, to sew them to each other, secure them to each other.
But that's what I do for my soles, and I think I tried to explain that to Polly a couple of years ago when he was trying to do slippers.
Oh, yeah.
It's just because at the end it tells you to pick up stitches for the second sole.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that. If there's a way that I can do without it, then that's what I do. And it looks fine.
Yeah, they look great. Her slippers have always come out great.
Yeah. They just, I suppose you can, you can't even pick up slippers to fix the soles afterwards because it's felted.
Right, you can't.
And it's going to felt, so no matter how it looks, it's not a big deal.
That's the other thing about this. It may look kind of weird when you do it, but it's all going to be felted. You won't see any of that.
No.
It's not like...
So I'm ready to cast on the second sole. And so if I'm not paying attention, because the soles are...
You have to pay attention.
You have to pay attention because you're doing shaping.
Yeah.
You're shaping for the toe.
Right.
And I think that's where your mom was getting mixed up.
If it said anything other than knit all stitches, my mom was confused.
But it's really not that hard. You knit these, right?
No. I bought the pattern, and then I bought the pattern at Fabric Place when it was going out of business.
And you never knit it?
And then my mom wanted to knit them, so I gave her the pattern.
I know, but you had the pattern long.
I did. I had the pattern for like a year and a
half.
half before my mom knit it, and she said she wanted to make it, and I said, don't buy the pattern, I'll just give you mine. I bought the hard copy one, so I don't even have the pattern anymore.
What I need to do is scan it into my computer so it doesn't...
put it on your...
Well, I made a couple of copies to work with, because I highlighted your mom's size.
Right. So that
and it's well loved, this pattern. It's got tape here. And
that's what you have, a hard copy pattern too. Mine is like that.
See?
Oh wow, you've really used it.
Well, I've made 2, 4, 5, maybe 6 or more slippers out of this pattern.
That's true.
And when I first made them, I made a smaller version for Zachary at the time, and I just
she has like her notes attached to it.
So I am sure it's similar notes to a child's pattern.
There is a smaller version of this pattern that you can also buy.
Yeah, it's a child's version.
But once you know the construction of it, if you have
it's all numbers.
It's math.
It's all just increasing so many stitches, but it's my favorite slipper to make because all in all, it is really a quick slipper.
And it's comfortable, and everybody likes them.
If I was to sit down, like you saw me just do this, I just did this whole sole pretty much as we were knitting. The only thing I didn't do 2 rows because, no, 1 row.
Yeah.
One row was already knit on that sole.
That's pretty fast.
And if I was to sit after we record and do this, I could have it done one day.
Yeah, it's a nice, quick project. Felting projects are always quick, and then you get to felt them, which is kind of like fun too. I don't know.
It's made with It's made with 2 yarns, 2 worsted weight yarns held together on size 13 needles. Makes it for a squishy fabric, and when it felts, it makes it for a nice tight fabric and slipper.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I am 50% done with this.
Yay!
I know.
Is that all you have on the needles?
Yes.
So now, finished. What is it? Rate your date. I'm like finished projects. Wait, that's not what we call it.
Rate your date.
My date to rate was going to be the sweater, but you know what? I just wanted to take some time to finish it all off and try it on again before I commit myself to the last few stitches. The good news is I have most of a whole skein that I'm working from and another whole skein that I haven't even touched left. So I have plenty of yarn, no matter what I have to do to it afterwards. So I don't have any finished objects this week.
I have finished
a finished object.
I have the slipper.
Yay!
So this is
Look how crazy they are.
I know. This is I ended up getting it so that the 2 strands of yarn that I'm working with were pretty much matched up.
Oh, cool.
It doesn't really make a difference though with this color. I mean, it does and it doesn't.
Can't tell too much.
So this is what a finished slipper looks like without the bumper.
It's huge.
That's the sole. Although I'm kind of concerned. I mean, it's really not that big. What size is your mom's foot? 7.5. Because I ended up doing an 8. That should be good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and you can see there's some big stitches here.
Yeah.
That'll get shrunk up.
No big deal either. That's a great thing about felting. It hides any imperfections that you might have. It hides seaming. It hides everything. It's just...
So this, I think, is where you would pick up stitches to do the bumper.
Yeah.
And then you knit it in such a way, and then you fold it, and it's probably very similar to the way you do the cuff.
Oh, probably.
So I just don't want to give it away because it is a bought pattern. But this is one slipper done.
It's huge. Look, here's my hand. It's huge. But it will shrink up when you...
yeah, it will shrink up really nice.
We'll show it to you.
Hopefully next week.
At least take a pic in case we can't somehow show it. Take a picture of it, and I'll put it in.
Well, when are you leaving? Not for a couple of weeks.
I'm not leaving until the 21st.
Yeah, it should be.
Next week it will be done, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Well, you know me. I make things that need to be felted, and then I lose them, and I don't felt them for 3 years, so...
I gave you the bag, though, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I know. See, my problem isn't not the felting. It's probably the laundry part of, it's just because I don't do laundry very much. But no, if I fix this, I should be able to felt these this weekend. It might be the drying part, depending on how humid it is.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Although I think it's going to dry up a little bit.
It's supposed to dry up, yeah. So this is my finished object, not finished project, finished object, because my project is not finished.
But that is one completed item.
It is one completed item, and this is my...
That's 2 weeks in a row you've had a finished object.
I know. Hold your horses. Everybody don't faint.
What the heck?
Because
the whole world is upside down.
It's because it is size 13 needles, double worsted weight, and this, I mean, put your hand in there. That's going to be so nice and toasty.
Oh, yeah. But don't you feel like your mojo a little bit come in because you finished 2 things? You got to knit another small project.
I might make another pair of these for me.
Oh, I think that would be a good idea because you've been saying that for a while.
Well, I do need a new pair because my others are gone.
Yeah.
And I think Max's are gone. Zachary's I gave away because he wasn't wearing them. I gave them to my father's girlfriend. She's got tiny feet. I think she wears like a 5.5 women's or...
Oh, yeah.
So I just gave him those because Zachary wasn't wearing it. What was I going to say? Yeah, but I found myself wanting to knit more than anything this past week.
Yeah, and also I think because the weather is just a little bit at night starting to feel like fall. And kids going back to school, it's like starting to feel like fall. And that's why I'm like, I got to knit another sweater. Like, I'm in the
I don't have that desire, but...
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my finished object, and this is my finished sole, and I'm going to cast off my other sole as soon as I get the yarn here.
Cool.
I got to make sure I can match these up.
So, the next thing is Whirlwind Romance. I did not do any spinning this week, but I have thought a lot about spinning because I have this idea for another color experiment sweater, like the one that I did, only with less striping. But another one where I'm going to play with color to make the whole sweater, make it work in with the design of the sweater. I think it'll be fun. So that's definitely on my radar. Sorry. Okay. Asthma. Curse the weed pollen that is in our area.
Yes. Quick question for you. Your mother won't care if these don't match up completely, right?
No.
Okay, because...
She's over that. It used to bother her when socks didn't match up, but she's over it.
No, she's not. Oh, yeah, I guess she is.
She's over it.
Oh, my gosh.
She is totally over it.
The reason I ask is because my second skein... I have 3 total, but this is the second one. It's going to run out before I finish the sock.
Yeah, don't worry about it. She's over it.
Good.
So, what comes after Whirlwind Romance? Future dates, yes?
I think so. I thought we were supposed to have a little cue card for that.
I know.
Since we're
I
not
don't know
doing
what
show
happened
notes
to
anymore.
it. Didn't we put it on a...
We didn't put it on a cue card. That's the problem.
That's the problem. We need to have an index card. And you know what I need to do? I need to just tape it right there.
If you want,
seriously.
Sure. Post-it note would do too.
So it is, I'm pretty sure it's future dates. And I have a future date. And I actually brought the yarn for it. So I was telling you, I'm pretty much done with my sweater. Next week you will see, I will put on the blocked finished version so you can see it. And I'm so excited. So I have 2 sweaters done for Rhinebeck. So I'm officially done with my Rhinebeck knitting. Yes. I
don't know what I'm going to wear for Rhinebeck, so...
Just any hand knit item. You don't have to actually make a sweater for Rhinebeck. It's just a lot of people.
Oh, God, no. God, no.
A lot of people do it. You can make a hat for Rhinebeck. Or
yeah,
gloves
that's
for
not gonna
Rhinebeck.
happen either.
Or a mitten.
Maybe I'll do fingerless.
I know, that'd be kind of fun.
I haven't done that
so,
in a while.
I showed you a few months ago that I wanted to knit Hero by Julia Farwell Clay. And I was planning on it possibly being a sweater that I wore at Rhinebeck. But my plans have changed because if you watch any podcast other than this one, you will see that everybody is knitting that sweater right now, which is great because it's a gorgeous sweater.
It is.
And I love seeing all the beautiful sweaters everyone knit. But I don't want to have a sweater at Rhinebeck that looks like the same sweater everybody had. So I'm going to knit it, but I probably won't wear it that weekend. But I just really want to knit another sweater. And when I went to the Webb's tent sale with my friend Diane, I was like, did I go with you? No, I went with Diane and I went with Jessa Loop. She was vending there.
That's right.
I bought enough to make Hero out of these colors. And I think I've shown them on the podcast before. The main body of the sweater is going to be in the darkest purple. And then it's going to be a gradient. I haven't decided which way I have to swatch it to see which order I like the yarn. This yarn, by the way, is Valley Yarns Berkshire. Valley Yarns is the Webb's brand. Valley Yarns Berkshire. And it is 85% wool and 15% alpaca. And it is a single ply yarn. So it's going to make a very fuzzy, drapey version of this. It's not going to be it's going to be fluffy. It kind of reminds me of those sweaters that were really popular in the 80s that were kind of Lopi sweaters, but it's not made out of Lopi. It's going to be a little bit puffier and drapier than the one that is shown, which is in some gorgeous yarn from Mad Color Fiber Arts. My friend Diane is doing hers in Mad Color Fiber Arts yarn. Her colors are actually going to be very similar to that, I think. But it's going to be fuzzier and softer, and I think it'll be really pretty. So I'm looking forward to it. But I just want to get another sweater on the needles because that was like potato chip knitting to me. I love it. This is the same thing. It's a lot of stockinette. So I'm totally into it. So that will probably get cast on at some time soon. And if you're wondering what colors they are, this one is blue. This one is amethyst. This one is eggplant. And this last one is periwinkle. And Webb's staff had them enticingly placed on the same shelf. So I was like, ooh, that would make a good hero.
They did all the color work for you.
I know. I didn't even have to think about it. And that will go into my big sweater bag, one of my big sweater bags, as soon as I get one started. I just brought the yarn today so I could remind people what I was going to knit it out of. I really wasn't going to knit this until after Christmas. But after finishing that other sweater, I'm like, all right, what sweater can I knit now? I need to knit another bulky sweater. So that's what we're going to do. That is my future date.
Okay. Future dates for me, I want to knit another pair of socks, whether they're for me or someone else. And I really do need to make another pair of these. Because I need them. Winter's coming and my toes get cold.
Yeah, because Sheila's floor in her living room is really cold.
Well, I have a hardwood floor, and the way that my TV room, we call it, is situated, it's on pillars. So it is insulated underneath.
But there's just like open air under there. Yeah. And it was really toasty and nice when she had gotten a beautiful wool rug from her brother.
From my dad, actually. It was a nice oriental.
From her dad.
And but Cam didn't like it.
Because he likes hardwood floors.
But in actuality, it's better for Zachary to have...
I'm sure it is.
That's right, I forgot about that. I have open house this week. Tonight.
Oh, no, ours is next week.
Ours is tonight, and I gotta look at his IEP because he's supposed to have rugs in his room.
Yeah.
And there weren't any. But,
yeah, Jack is supposed to have some stuff. I'm going to have to write to the school, this is a sidetrack, about, because even though he didn't get an IEP, he has some accommodations that he's entitled to under the Rehab Act, and those they have to do. So I guess I'm going to have to get all lawyer on them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look for Zachary's. I think I know exactly where it is, but I will have to pull it out and look to see where it is and have it highlighted.
You know, I think it's interesting. I love my school district. I think my school did a wonderful job when they did all the testing with Jack, and they found a lot of stuff that we're working out. But no one ever said the words Rehabilitation Act to me.
How'd you find that out?
Because I was talking to Pat Looney Hiker, or I had commented about it, and she commented back, and she told me IEP is one thing, but if there are in-class accommodations, physical accommodations that can be made under the Rehab Act, they have to do it. And I was like, I kind of vaguely knew that, because I did do disability law as one of my specialties, but I didn't do as it relates to school children.
Right.
So I was like, oh yeah, it's a totally different standard than the one that they use for IEP. And I think it's interesting to me that nobody said he should have, I mean, you're entitled to have him. Once we say he needs this, I'm entitled to have those in-class accommodations, like sitting on a ball or those kind of easy-to-do physical accommodations for a physical issue. I'm allowed to have that.
Yeah, see, they won't give you anything unless you say something.
That's right, which
it's sad.
I think is sad. So I need to be in touch with my school and make sure that that's happening with him, because he hasn't mentioned. I asked him if he had a special ball chair or a ball. They have these seats that have like a ball on them. He doesn't have any of that.
And he's supposed to?
Well, I told them at the end of the IEP meeting that they cannot share the information from the IEP evaluations without my permission. I gave them all permission, and I said, I want you to share this with the teacher, and I want him to have all of the physical accommodations. I said that. I didn't know at the time that I was entitled to it, but I said that I wanted it, and I said, please, I want his teacher to know, because I didn't want him starting out the year as that kid who cannot sit still, and he's so annoying, and it must be a behavior problem, when it turns out it's because his middle ear is all screwed up.
Right.
So And he's really having trouble. He hit his head on the table today because he lost his balance in his chair. I cannot wait for that ear surgery. I hope that fixes his issues. He's like, I just hit my head on the table. Anyway, that was a big sidetrack. So we did future dates, crushes and heartbreaks. I have a crush. My crush is that I was able to go running for the first time since May and not have an injury occur. Granted, I ran very slowly. Like, I ran less than 4 miles an hour, which is very slow. But I did it. I did the first day of Couch to 5K. That is my crush. And my heartbreak, very quickly, is that I have been dealing with injury after injury after injury as a result of my ACL surgery.
Right.
My knee is perfect now, but my quad muscle and my hip flexor and all the muscles from the knee upwards are all weakened because of the year that I was in rehab and the surgery, and everything gets messed up. So now I have to focus on walking correctly, or my good leg does all the work and I'm off kilter enough so that I'm actually like working the muscles in my bad leg in a way that they are not used to, and then I get an injury. So it's been so hard to come back to getting into a full exercise program because I had a hip flexor injury that knocked me out for 2 months from running, because I thought it was better after a couple of weeks, even though I was told it would take 6 weeks to heal, and I re-injured it even worse after 2 weeks, and then I had to wait another 6 weeks. And now I'm having sciatica in my leg. I think it's sciatica, but it's bizarre to me because it only bothers me when I sit still. Walking and running makes it feel relieved, right, and stretching it makes it feel relieved. So I have an appointment coming up, a yearly physical, and I'm going to bring up this and a lot of other age-related issues that I'm curious about. Like, can I get a shingles shot? I'm so freaking old now.
Oh.
I need to ask about the shingles. I already got the pneumonia shot. Like, that's done.
I know, but I was thinking about the shingles shot as well, but not for myself as much as making sure that Zachary doesn't.
Well, I had chicken pox.
Yeah, I did too.
So, if you had chicken pox, you can get shingles. And my mother got shingles. So I'm like worried that there's some kind of predisposition for me to get it. So I have to talk about that. And I have to talk about seeing a dermatologist because I think I'm very fair-skinned. I stay out of the sun. I don't get a lot of sun. But my mother just had a second precancerous tumor removed from her lip. So I think I'm at the age where it's time for me to have an annual once-over by a dermatologist to make sure that I don't have any precancerous skin. So I need to do that. I need to talk about how I'm so old that I get an injury every time I move my body. I got to talk about that. It's all age-related. Like, it's just, I'm getting old. It's funny. It's like the second I turned 45, bam! Things are wrong with me. I just 45. My eyes are bad now. I've had the same prescription for like 7 years. I turned 45. Bam. I am like needing a new prescription every year. It's like my body's just going right downhill. So that's my heartbreak.
Crushes and heartbreaks for me. I don't have many hours at my Braintree rehab job, so I'm picking up hours at my overnight job because I really do need money. I paid for Zachary's gymnastics. I paid for Max's soccer. What else did I just pay for? Paid for a bunch of stuff.
Birthday?
Yeah, I just paid for birthday. Zachary's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to him. That's my crush. So last night we went out to dinner and I said to my husband, you got to pay because his gift was well more than I wanted to. So the budget's got to get clamped down. It's like I've been splurging because I've had money. Well, now it's got to get clamped down again because I don't have money coming in.
Well, hopefully you'll pick up some extra hours.
Yeah. Trying to think what else. That's about it. Yeah. I don't have much. No, I mean, just daily life. Daily life.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of been It's been so busy getting the kids back to school. It's like I haven't really had time to think about anything. Like,
no,
it's
really.
like, ooh.
Well, it was weird. Yesterday I was home because I'm not usually home. I'm either at my rehab job, the phlebotomist job, or I'm coming home a little after 7 from my overnight shift. But I was actually home to wake up Max, which was nice. I haven't done that in a very long time. And I did leave afterwards because I had to do
So that was kind of a crush.
Do a CPR. Here's something funny. You have to get certified for CPR in the health field. So my business offers recertification, and I think I get paid for it. I signed in for it. So, and then I'm sitting there waiting for a coworker of mine to join, and I realized you don't have to get recertified except for every 2 years.
So she got recertified. Now you don't have to do it for another 2 years.
I know.
So that's good.
Yeah. And it was a really quick class. So it was like we weren't even there for maybe an hour and a half.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but we knew what we were doing, and hopefully we know what we're doing.
Baubles and Bling. I have my very exciting Baubles and Bling. So, I used to be in the Into the World Club, which I loved. And because I was so far behind, I gave it up before, I think I gave it up even before the Tour de Fleece. Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of months ago, a friend of mine got into the Hello Yarn club, which she's been on the waiting list for literally years. And she asked me if I wanted to share it and get a double dose. And so that we would each pay for half and each get one bump. And if we particularly liked one bump one time and the other one liked another time, we would trade. So you'd have 2 bumps of something instead of just one. So this is this month's offering. It is the August 2013 Hello Yarn Fiber Club in Spirograph.
It's pretty.
I like it. It's Falkland wool top, and it's 8 ounces, and it's got this beautiful warm pinky brown and some olive green and purple and some blue and some aqua, and I really like it. It looks very similar to some Into the World that I have, so I'm thinking I might be able to work them together in a project somehow. I think it might also be in Falkland, what I have from Into the World. I mean, it's not identical, but it has some colors that are the same. They might go well together. So I really love it. I'm excited to see what happens next. Everyone raves about Hello Yarn. That's why it's so popular and the waiting list is so long. So I'm excited to spin some of it and see what it's like. And I think that the club reboots every 3 months or 6 months. It's not like an indefinite club. You can re-up every once in a while. So I might just do it for a few months and see what it's like and just get a few of her things. Because it's really, unless you get it on D-Stash, it's really hard to get her stuff. She's one of those people, when she does a shop update, it's gone. And I don't have the patience to stock updates. So things that I really want, I'll either get them on D-Stash or I'll just be like, someday if they stop being as popular, I'll buy some. I'm lazy. So that is my one Baubles and Bling. And I'll be showing you these the next couple of months when I'm doing that and when I'm participating in that. How about you?
I got one. Hold on. I'm almost at the end of the road. So, I didn't buy this. But Wendy's mom made me a pair of socks.
Yay!
And I got them the other day. Zachary came in with a package. He goes, Mom, you got a package. I looked at it. I'm like, yay! I got my socks.
I knew they were coming, but I didn't tell her.
I would have waited until you got back from your trip.
I didn't tell her. She wanted to put them in right away. She wanted to send them before she went to the beach.
So we were talking about how her mom, like Wendy, had this OCD about matching stripes, but this time she didn't. So.
No, she's over it.
So there's a pink toe, and there's a blue toe, and there's a pink toe.
Yeah, she's over it.
But you can't tell with these anyway, so I wore them the other day. I was so excited.
She gave me the leftovers to use in my blanket.
I gave Wendy the leftovers. I'd like to see this.
Me too. I'm interested. I'm going to do that when I get home, maybe.
So thank you, Nancy. I really appreciate it. I was very excited to get those in the mail.
Yes, that was really nice. And my mother wove in all the ends for Sheila.
Okay.
My mom does not always weave in all the ends for me. I'm okay with that. I am not complaining about that in any way.
I've gotten a pair of socks without her weaving in
I know.
Which, again, I'm okay.
Well,
if she wants to knit socks.
She thinks of Sheila as another daughter. The daughter she never had.
If she wants to knit socks for me, I'll be more than happy to weave in
Seriously, I'm like, fine. I'll even knit like part of the cuff. If you want to do like most of the sock and just have me do the ribbing, I'll do it. That would be, I'll be happy. Because I am not you are a sock knitter. I am not a sock knitter. I can knit socks, but I don't enjoy it as much as lace knitting and sweater knitting. Those are really my things. So.
Yeah, I don't mind knitting socks.
Let's see. So that's it for Baubles and Bling. Gossip and innuendo. I'm not going to talk about it here, but there are a lot of upcoming fiber events. There's a Vermont sheep and wool and something in southern Adirondack sheep and wool. There are things coming up. Rhinebeck's coming up. I have all of the New England events that are relevant to us linked in the show notes. So if you are if you're from the area and you're interested to check out what's going on, you can see them. I note on them which events that we or I will be attending. Well, because Sheila's coming to Rhinebeck, but she probably won't make it to the other events with me. I have to ask one of my other friends to go.
It's just too many weekends for me to get away from.
No, it's, yeah.
Well, and besides, I work almost every other weekend anyways.
Yeah, she has a job. I don't have a job. It's easier for me to get, and I have a husband who doesn't mind me. He just knows in October I'm not going to be home any weekends.
Right.
And he's okay with that. Like, that's my time. And so.
I just also want to remind people about the Jimmy Fund Walk from
I think it's happening
soon. That's what
this weekend, right?
I'm not sure. And
it's the 8th. Isn't that this weekend?
Would be if it's the 8th, yes.
I think it's the 8th. So, yeah, Melly Bella, who is one of
Holy crapola. I got 5 messages in my inbox. I just checked it the other day. Sorry, I'm just going through on my iPad. Let's see, 25th annual, September 8th, yes.
It is.
So it's going today. So if you want to, you still have time to donate.
The links are still in our show notes.
JimmyFunWalk.org. And it's Melissa Sibley's page.
I have a link to it. If you just go to the blog.
It's jimmyfund.org /2013 / Bella, MELIBELLA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for the Jimmy Fun Walk, and that's to help kids with cancer. And some of it goes to the Dana-Farber for research and everything. And as everyone knows, Zachary survived, is a survivor of cancer.
Yep, and he had a lot of excellent care at Dana-Farber and a lot of help from the Jimmy Fund.
8 years.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Yeah, because he's 10.
Wow.
So 8.5, because it was really 15.
He doesn't have to go to his cancer doctor anymore.
Well, yes, we do. We have to make a yearly visit.
Oh, but isn't it less? At some point, didn't it get less than it was? I thought I remembered a milestone where you were like, he's officially. There was some letter that you got where he was officially like at a better level.
What's it called? It might be the survivorship program or something like
that.
Yeah,
he
survivorship clinic or something like that. We're due for an appointment for that, as a matter of fact.
He went to a better level.
Yeah, I mean, we still go to the Jimmy Fun Clinic.
Why is my shirt all sideways?
I don't know. We still go to the Jimmy Fun Clinic, but it's the survivorship.
Yeah, he graduated to the one that's better.
So. And
also, you can still get the pattern, A Little Help from My Friends.
Oh, yeah.
By Allison Ziegler, and that benefits the Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network on behalf of her friend who is trying to deal with stage 4 bladder cancer.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is tough. And so if you are feeling generous, you can see the links to both of those charities in our show notes. And, please feel free to donate. It's wonderful to help, even if it's just a few dollars.
Right.
It makes a difference.
Really does.
And the great thing about the sock pattern I love is that you can knit it for one of your friends for like a birthday or a holiday and at the same time benefit a charity. So I think that's nice too. And, of course, anytime you give money to the Jimmy Fund, you know how many kids it's going to help. It really hits home more when you know an actual kid. The one thing about the Jimmy Fund, and a lot of people don't know this, and I didn't know this, and I'm not spouting this off of a web page or anything, so there's my precursor right there. I was told when Zachary was in there that nobody has to pay for their child's treatments. They take what insurance is covered, and what is not, it's taken care of. And I think that's part of the fundraising. Now, don't quote me 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens. And I've seen that with the St. Jude's Hospital. I've seen that with the Shriners Burn Center. A lot of the hospitals that deal with kids do not have the parents pay what insurance doesn't cover, because insurance doesn't always cover 100%. It's very difficult to pay. And no child should have to go untreated because their parents have financial need. And no family should be financially destroyed because they just want their baby to be alive. So it's a good charity. It is. And it's a wonderful thing that Melissa is walking and raising money. I think that's admirable. Absolutely. And I'm going to show you what my little miracle looks like today or thereabouts. It's a 8-year survivor. I'm going to call the episode of this show 8-Year Survivor. Yeah. This is at the CN Tower in Toronto this summer. So the short one is the 8-Year Survivor. That's one of my favorites. He's the happiest kid you've ever seen. Never hear a word of complaint. That's a better picture. There, that's a better picture. Is that him on his birthday? No. Oh. No, God, no. That's still in Niagara Falls. Oh. They're sitting at the Crown Royal. We were at the... That's some kind of a liquor place. We were at the... what's the duty-free shop? And so there was a Crown Royal chair. Yeah. I'm like, sit in there. That actually... that may actually be our Christmas. Canada, having a drink. Yeah, put it on your Christmas card. Here are my kids in a bar. That's what it looks like. It is not. Maybe I'll Photoshop it a little bit, but yeah, that's my 2 boys. Yes. They're good. So. All right. So I think that's all we have for this week. Have a great week. Knit with heart. Bye. Thanks for watching.